Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and uh, and welcome to this webinar on complete description of the poems. We shall start in a minute, like by 9:10 we shall start. We shall wait for other participants to join. And thank you so much once again for joining. Thank you, everybody. We shall start by 9:10. Hi, we shall start in a bit. Just and Good morning once again, everybody. Thank you for joining. We shall start shortly. We are having some technical issues. Just a second, we'll resolving it, and we will be starting in a minute. There's a technical glitch, so don't. Please, thank you for your patience. We are resolving it, and we'll be starting right away. Hope today's session is on a complete description of the poem, one by Sarojini Naidu ji and another by Kamala Daji. Like, they are Indian poets, and they have some political background as well. They had some part that they played in Indian politics. So both of them are Indian poets, Indian English poets. They wrote plays as well, and they were poets also. Sarojini Naidu, she studied in London and then Cambridge, and she wrote about tragedy. She wrote about romance and nature. And both of them, besides Kamala Das was an iconoclast. That means she wrote something which was very different from the norms and cultures that were being followed in the Indian society that time. So she wrote openly about feminine sexuality. Most of the time her work was autobiographical. She used to write explicitly, and she did not bother about anything, and she wrote, let it be about her feminist things or other such things which were generally not discussed in Indian society that time. But she wrote, and let's open our PPTs and we shall see. Okay. Yes. So as we have discussed, that today's session is about complete description of the poems by Kamala Das as well as Sarojini Naidu ji. And we shall start. Let's see. Like what are there. We shall read the poem, we'll see the summary, and we shall also understand like if there is any technical part that needed to be catered, for example the set and the meter of the poem, rhyming pattern, yeah, and what kind of poetry is it. So we shall also see that, like what are the similes, what are the metaphors, I mean what are the parts, figures of speech that are being utilized. Okay, and we'll see all of it. Like in Kamala Das poetry there are similes and metaphor used. Here also in Sarojini Naidu's poetry there is plenty of such figures of speech that is being used. And we shall see it and hope you would like it. So there were some technical glitches that we were facing. Now I think that has been resolved, and we shall start right away. Though we have already started. And we shall see like what are there. And you may tell your friends and colleagues that if they wish they can come and join. Okay. And thank you everybody once again for joining. And we shall start. So let's see what we have today, what we'll be covering. So this is the list of the topic that we'll be covering today. There will be 2 poems that will be covered: My Grandmother's House by Kamala Das and In the Forest by Sarojini Naidu ji. And like we'll be seeing the summary, we'll talk about the theme, we'll talk about the rhyming scheme, and if there is any meter used in the poetry we'll also discuss that. And I request everybody to, you may share this with your friends so that they can come and join as well. Okay. So My Grandmother's House by Kamala Das and In the Forest by Sarojini Naidu. And let's begin. So before going any further, let's understand what personality was Kamala Das, like what she did, like what kind of things she used to do, and what kind of, what was her thought process, what kind of literature she used to write. Okay, so as you can see her father was a managing editor of a newspaper, and the mother was Malayali poet. Okay, she belonged to India, and one of the states of India, and that is Kerala. Malayalam is the language. Okay, and she was influenced by her uncle. He was also a writer, so he became the inspiration for Kamala Das to write. Okay, and then she wrote both in her mother tongue, and English. Okay, she used to write short stories, explicit autobiographies. She was also a communist. She used to write in newspaper. Okay, and she was very honest, and the gender taboos that were prevailing that time, female sexuality and all that, I think you can understand. All these things she wrote very boldly and very honestly. She did not hide anything, and wrote with open-mindedness, open-mindedly she wrote, and this became her, you can say, this made her distinguished among other poets or other writers that time. Okay, she was an iconoclast. She wrote against the norms of the society. Okay, she was known for bold and frank expressions. She used to write about freedom, protection, and love. Okay, and these three things she has written a lot. Okay, these were the themes that were there. And please tell me if my voice is audible. Is it audible? Is my voice audible? Please write in the chat window. Is my voice audible? Please let me know. Okay, it is audible. Okay, not an issue. Okay, thank you so much for your inputs. And yes, so we were talking about Kamala Das. She was an English poet. Indian English poet, and we saw what kind of stuff she wrote. Okay, her name was Kamala Suraya, and she was also known as Kamala Das, and people also know her as Madhavi Kutti. This was her pen name, and yes, she was very popular as she wrote very boldly and frankly. She did not mind being opening up about her sexuality and the things that she used to, think and fantasize. And she that's why she's called iconoclast, like the people that write about something which is not very, or the people that write against the prevailing norms. The people, those who write about something which is not like accepted by, the society that time. So she was an iconoclast, and she wrote short stories, autobiographies, and then she was honest and bold. She had frank expressions, and we'll see, like and on top of that, she was a politician for a brief period of time. And yes, her father was editor, like he was also a writer. Mother was a poet, and she got influenced by her uncle, who was also a writer. So her family is of writers family, and they were artists, they were literary people, and probably that's why she got into this. Like we can see her uncle, like he influenced her to get into writing, and she wrote boldly, and she did not fear. And we'll see the poem, we'll understand what kind of emotions she is expressing in this poem, which is in the, that is my grandmother's house. Okay, like in the forest is a different poem that is by Sarojini Naidu. We'll cover that as well in this session. And yes, let's start with the session. So my grandmother's house is an autobiographical poem, and you can understand what is autobiography and what is autobiographical poem. And as she is an honest writer, she did not hide anything. Her expressions are bold, okay, and honest and frank. So we can see, like through this poem, that she's writing an autobiography of what she felt about her grandmother, okay, and what are her fascinations with the house that belonged to her grandmother. And when she was child, she used to go there and visit, okay, and she has a very strong bonding with her grandmother. And now she's no more in the world, and that's why Kamala Das is, is sad, like she's longing for the love that used to be coming from her grandmother. Okay, so we shall see how she portrays this emotion through this poem. So basically this is an autobiographical poem. This is an autobiographical poem, and what we can make it the other way, it's a nostalgic poem as well. So first it's an autobiographical poem, you can also say it's a nostalgic poem as well, because now she is remembering what has happened in the past, right? And the poem is very beautiful, like she has explained everything, and she has used metaphor beautifully, she has used simile as well sometimes, and there is resonance. We shall see what is there. And the theme is like she is remembering her grandmother, the time that she spent with her, and she's getting nostalgic about that. She's getting emotional, and she's also asking her husband that whether he would understand or not. So in this poem there is a tone of, like, there is the mood that pertains to the sadness. At the same time, it will show the feelings, how a female would feel through the lines and thoughts of this poetry, how a female child would had a connection with grandmother, and how they would feel, what things, like what are the surroundings there, like she's married, she's married, and she speaks to her husband that he would not understand what he's feeling, and probably he might not have loved her in the way grandmother has done it. So there are some facts that would come up, like how how the world governs in the female universe. Okay, so from the perspective of females, this is what it is all about, and we'll see. We shall start. So basically it's an autobiographical poem. Please remember, this would be the theme. Nostalgia is the theme. Okay, so my grandmother's house, and it was published in an anthology called Summertime in Calcutta, which was published in 1965. I think this is recent. Okay. Before starting, let me tell you, like, there are three parts of this session. First is the delivery, that is what we are going through, and then second is the feedback, and third is the certificate. So you need to fill the feedback form in order to get the certificate. So please write your valid email ID and the name as you wish to be published onto the certificates. Okay, so we shall start now. My grandmother's house. Now she's referring to the grandmother's house, and let's see what we have here. Now what she says, there is a house now far away where once I received love. Okay, now what she's saying is, now she's referring to a house. She's telling, like, there is a house where she used to receive love, like she was loved in that house. Okay, which is far away from the place where she is. Okay, she's living. Okay, and now she says that woman died. Okay, now firstly she's saying there is a house now far away where once I received love. Okay, now she's referring to a place which is far away from where she's living, and then she said that that's the house where she received love, and now she's denoting the woman, her grandmother, who had died. That woman died. The house withdrew into silence. Snakes moved among books. I was then too young to read, and my blood turned cold like the moon. Yes. Now what is she saying? Now, as the woman, as her grandmother had died, the house has become silent. There is no joy. There is nothing there which can, make her happy. It is silent. It has become like a black hole. Like, it is you can say it is very, very peaceful in a very different way. Okay, and now, as nobody lives there, the snakes are there that move around the books. Okay, so there could be a library, small library in the house, or there could be 3-4 books, and the snakes used to move. So you can imagine what kind of situation is there when snakes are moving here and there in the house. This literally means that nobody is there for a longer period of time. And now she said she was But when she was there in the house, she was too young and she could not read books. Okay, but now as the woman has died, the house has become silent, the house has become very different, house has become empty, there is no emotion that can be attached to the house, just these emotions what she's referring here. Now the house has become silent, the snakes are moving among the books, and she could not read books as because she was young, and now her blood is turning cold like the moon. Now what is referring now, as she gets into the house and looks the atmosphere there, she also becomes cold like the moon. She also becomes emotionless. She's just reflecting what she's saying, like her blood has turned cold like a moon. So you can see how the moon looks, empty, emotionless, right? You cannot expect any emotions coming out from the moon. It is like a steady face, no emotions, no expressions there, and just sitting, and so silent, so calm, so peaceful in the night. Okay, and she's referring to her blood. You can compare it to the soul or psyche of Kamala Das. And as her mother, as his grandmother is no more in this world, she had a deep bonding with her. She used to receive love, but now it is nobody there. She has died, and she can feel the emptiness. She can feel that um, the absence of love in the house. And now she has become something. She has become like a cold, like a moon which is cold. And you can understand, you can take it in any way, you can imagine and compare it with any way, the sense will remain same, that she has become very, you can say nostalgic, or very perturbed by the fact that her grandmother is no more, and she cannot receive love in the same way the grandmother used to do. Okay, and then how often I think of going there to peer through the blind eyes of windows. Okay, and now she says that I have been thinking so many times to go there and to look through the windows. Okay, and as the house has been, there is no one in the house, and there is no love coming from the house, as grandmother is no there, the windows has become, you can say, they have become blind, or they have become dusty. She cannot see anything from there. Okay, and this you can take in any way, like she cannot imagine anything. Probably she during her childhood she might look out from the window, but that time she might see some good things, or something that is okay. Okay, and when there is nobody in the house, she cannot see anything, like she has become still. She has nothing in there in herself to explain. Okay, the house has become like a empty, or like a frozen emotions, and she cannot express herself, because she want to express, but as the grandmother is not there, the house is empty, it is peaceful, she cannot imagine, she cannot express, she has lost the expression, because the grandmother is no there, she is dead, and she is explaining the house how it feels now. Okay, she is basically explaining her emotions about her house, about the house of the grandmother. Now she cannot peer through she cannot see anything out of the window, because probably she has lost interest, or the window has been rusty, or as it has been frozen, the house has went into peace. There is nothing she can get out of it. And now she's saying, just listen to the frozen air. Now the air has been frozen. Okay, not only the window has become blind, the air is also frozen. Why air has become frozen? Because there is an emptiness there in the house. Okay, and there are no inhabitants in the house, nobody to breathe, right? Nobody to make that house lively. And on top of that, the most adorable person, grandmother, is not there. He used to love her, and because of grandmother, the house had a life. But now, as she has gone, and there is nothing in the house. There was a life in the house because of the grandmother, but now she's not there. That means the house he has lost his soul. House has also died. Okay. Okay, the house is also died. Or in wild despair, pick an armful of darkness to bring it to the lie, here to lie behind my bedroom door like a brooding dog. And now she's saying, like, she was so much in love with that house and grandmother, she sometimes would do what? Pick an armful of darkness, which means the emotions that you felt, okay, that she felt, would pick up all those emotions and come and keep it behind the bedroom door like a brooding dog. Brooding means pensive. Brooding means pensive, and sometimes that results in the sad mood, like people when start thinking about someone for a longer period of time, or some emotion that is running in the mind, and they keep on thinking about that for a longer period of time, and they probably might become sad. So what she's saying, she in wild despair, so she was so much, she was so much in sorrow because of the death, and she was in such a sorrow because of the death of her grandmother. What she will do, she will take out, what she's saying, she's metaphorically saying, she will pick up some of the emotions, some of the time spent by some of the time which she has spent with her grandmother, will pick it up, take her to her house and keep it behind the door, and she would be thinking like a lot many times. Okay, and now she's comparing that to brooding dog, and you can imagine why she's doing that. And then she talks to her husband. She says, you cannot believe, darling, can you, that I lived in such a house and was proud and loved. Okay, now darling, she's referring to her husband. Now she's saying, you cannot believe, she's saying, you may not believe what I used to live in that house and I was proud and loved. Now she was proud that she used to live in that house and she was loved. So 2 or 3 times she is referred to the love which was given to her by the grandmother. Okay, now what he say, I who have lost my way and beg now at stranger's door to receive one at least in small change. Okay, now what she is referring to, like she's now, she needs that love now. Okay, she's referring, the third part, she needs that love now, and now she started begging from the strangers. Grandmother was not stranger, she was a family member. Now she started begging that love from the strangers. Okay, and now now she has become a beggar, and you can expect beggar, what people do, will give a small change, probably one currency note or 2 currency note, the least one. Okay, they pay you, not probably $1 or probably 1 rupee in Indian currency. So what she's asking for now, she's begging for that love, and now she's asking from strangers. What she's saying, as what she's saying. Now she's asking from strangers and saying, you do not give me too much, just give me a few, okay, give me a small part of that, and which is she's comparing to a small change. I think you can understand what is change. So this was the poetry. So my grandmother house, basically, now she's telling that there was a house she used to live, then she was loved by grandmother, and now the grandmother had died, and as she has died, now she's describing what is happening in the house. Snakes was crawling again among the books, okay, and now her blood has become cold, okay, she is very depressed, she is in despair, okay, and now she's telling she used to think a lot about that house, and now when she peers through the window, there is nothing she can see, and the air is frozen in the house, because grandmother is no more there, okay. And whenever she goes to that house, what she does, she brings emotions and she keep on thinking, okay. When she come back to her present house, she would keep on thinking about her relationship with the grandmother. She used to love her so much, and now what she's saying in the third part, that she needs that love, and now she has started begging, because she's in such despair, because nobody could love like her grandmother, and now she's begging, and she's also saying that at least don't give me the love like 100%, probably give me 5% or 1% at least. So this is what she is telling, okay. So this is a nostalgic poem, and let's see what we have, okay. We'll see what we have next. So what are the figures for speech used? Simile is used, metaphor is used, assonance is used, alliteration is used, okay. When we see that bedroom door, okay, bedroom door like a brooding, so you can expect alliteration there, okay. And when she says like a brooding dog, that is a simile, okay. Small change, that is metaphor, okay. There is assonance also, like there is read my blurred turned cold moon. So this is something assonance that is coming up. And then there is through blind eyes of windows, that is a metaphor she has used, okay. Withdrew into silence, okay, that is also some kind of metaphor she has used here. And yes, just listen to the frozen air is also a metaphor. Despair, pick and armful, there is a hint of assonance there. Darkness to bring it here to lie, now darkness is also a metaphor. Beyond my bedroom door, like this is simile. You cannot believe, darling, can you, that I lived in such a house, was proud and loved, I who have lost my way and beg now at strangers' door to receive love, at least in small change. So this is a metaphor, small change is a metaphor. So there is a hint of assonance, and there are clear cut similes, there are alliteration, hints of alliteration, metaphor as well. So it is full of similes and metaphors. You can make out, I mean, you can understand out of what is happening, okay. So this has finished, and I think there is no systematic rhyming in the poem. I think meter is also absent, is a mixed one, so you can go and check it out, like what is there. So there's no any exact meter and any exact rhyming scheme, okay. So let's move on to the next poet of this session. She is Sarojini Naidu, okay. She was a poet and she was also a political activist. She worked for suffragists Okay, she was educated in Chennai, then went to London and Cambridge, and she wrote about patriotism, romance, and tragedy. She started writing at 12, and she also wrote plays apart from poetry. Okay, and not only this, she wrote a lot about nature. Okay, and this poem also has that hint, like she what she feels about nature, what kind of idea she get out of nature. So we'll see that. So the title of the poem is In the Forest. I think you can expect what might come from this poet, I mean the poetry of her. Okay, and I request everybody, like, you can share. Thank you. You can share this with your friends. I mean, you can ask your friends to come up and they can also join, or you can, it will be there in the YouTube channel. You can come anytime and watch, but please mind that the certificates will be distributed live, because I need the feedback form to relieve the certificate. And okay, so let's see what we have in this poem. Okay, in the forest. Okay, so the theme of we'll see later on what's the theme, but before that, let me give you the gist, like what is the idea. Like in this poem, she's referring to the thoughts and dreams that are there in the herd, and asking those thoughts and dreams. Okay, and she's thinking, reflecting those thoughts and dreams to solve the everyday problems. Okay, so basically she's invoking the power of thoughts and dreams which is there inside her, and to solve the everyday problems. Okay, this is what it is all about. Now she's referring to the herd in the forest. Here, O my herd, let us burn the dear dreams that are dead. Here in this wood, let us fashion a funeral pyre of fallen white petals and leaves that are mellow and red. Here, let us burn them in noon's flaming torches of fire. Now, what she's asking the herd. She's asking the herd. We consider herd a place where all the thoughts and emotions reside, right? And now she's asking the herd, let us burn the dear dreams that are dead. Now she's saying, let us burn because there is a tradition in every culture. When somebody dies, we burn them, or some people do something else. So as she belongs to Indian culture, it is that we burn the dead people. Okay, now she's referring that we shall burn the dead dreams. And now she says in this forest she will start a different funeral pyre where the white petals and the leaves will be involved, and the noon, okay, in the noon she says she will burn all these things. Okay, she will do what? Noon's flaming torches of fire. Let's see. Dear herd, let us burn the dear dreams that are dead, that are no more there. Okay, and let us fashion a funeral pyre, okay, of fallen white petals and leaves that are mellow and red. Okay, now she says she will burn the dreams in a different fashion, okay, where petals and leaves will be there. Okay, dead petals and leaves which are mellow and red would be there. And now she says here we'll burn them in noon flaming torches of fire. Okay, probably there is noon and there is extreme heat, and she'll use that heat to burn all the dear dreams, including the fallen petals and leaves. So she's basically she's saying like she is
following a ritual, different kind of ritual. So there are rituals in every culture. Okay, like in America there is a different ritual, and like in and she's referring to ritual right here. If you can conjecture, if you can guess, if you can understand, you can think that she's referring to some kind of ritual here. Okay, like in India there are yags, in India there are havans that we do, in Philippines there could be other ritual, Indonesia other ritual, Russia other, America other ritual. So as she belongs to India, she's saying that she will burn the dead, okay, dead dreams. Okay, she will burn the dead dreams. You're welcome. She can burn the dead dreams, I mean she can burn the dead dreams with a different fashion now, where the white petals and leaf will be involved, and the extreme heat of noon will be used to torch them. Okay, this is what she is referring to. Now let's see what she's saying again. We are weary, my heart, we are weary, so long we have borne the heavy loved burden of dreams that are dead, let us rest. Now what she's saying, we are weary. It means we have become tired, because we have been running this life so long. We have born probably 50 years ago or 40 years ago. There is a pile up of thoughts there are pile up of dreams in the heart, and we need to clear that burden, and let's see, the heavy loved burden of dreams that are dead, let us rest. Okay, we have let us scatter their ashes away for a while, let us mourn. Now what she is saying, like as we have become tired, because we have been born so long back, and there are burden of dreams that are dead, and now we want to burn them, and we should rest. And now what she's saying, we should scatter their ashes, as it has been burned, all the dreams has been burned, and it has converted into ashes, and she says she'll scatter those ashes, and she says for some time let us cry for them. Okay, we will rest, O my heart, till the shadows are grey in the west. Now what she's saying, probably they will rest, she will rest, as because they had torched their dreams, that thoughts and dreams that were behaving as burden, and now they are resting. They also want to do what? They also want to rest right now, and they will rest till the days become night, or probably for one day, because till the shadows are grey in the west. Probably it is known. Okay, and probably the shadow is just under us, and when the sun would move to that side, the probably will come to west. So what she's saying, till the evening, till the night, will be resting. So this is what she's saying. Okay, so we are weary, my heart, we are weary, so long we have borne the heavy loved burden of dreams that are dead, let us rest, let us scatter their ashes away for a while, let us mourn. We will rest, O my heart, till the shadows are in grey. So basically what she's saying in the beginning that, my heart, let us create a funeral pile for the dead dreams. Okay, we'll involve some petals, flowers, and we use the natural heat to burn them. And then she says we'll mourn also, we'll scatter the ashes as well, and we'll rest. And as because these dreams has become very heavy, because we have been thinking about them till we have aged today, probably 40 years or 50 years, there are dreams and thoughts that are coming, they have become burden, and now we'll burn them and we'll sit and relax, and we may also mourn, we may also cry for them. Okay, and now in the last paragraph she says, but soon we must rise, O my heart, we must wander again into the wall of world and the strife of the throng. Let us rise, O my heart, let us gather the dreams that remain, we will conquer the sorrow of life with the sorrow of song. Okay, but soon we must rise, O my heart, we must wander again into the war of the world and the strife of the throng. Let us rise, O my heart, let us gather the dreams that remain. We'll conquer the sorrow of life with the sorrow of song. So that is, but she says we must rise up soon, O my heart, and then we must start moving around. And we must go into the war of the world. We must face the life and with the collection of despair. Okay, strife of throng means collection, and let's see what strife means. Strife means conflicts, throng means bunch. Okay, so there is a war of world and there is a bunch of, you can say, conflict there in life. Okay, this is what it is. Okay, and yes, please wait, you need to fill the feedback form as well. Everybody fill the feedback form, then you'll get the certificates, or you can mail me like that you have watched the webinar, and then we can release the certificates. Okay, yes. And then she's into the war of the world and the strife of the throng. Let us rise, O my heart, let us gather the dreams that remain. We'll conquer the sorrow of life, the sorrow of song. Now what is saying, we should not back down from the challenges that this life will face. We should rise, O my heart, and we shall gather the dreams that we have, that we have with us, as we have burned the dreams that became a burden, and now we shall conquer the sorrow of life with the sorrow of song. Okay, now what she's saying, she'll conquer the sorrow of life with the sorrow of song. And song probably could be the song of the power that she is getting from the hurt, from the dreams and thoughts that reside with her. So this is all about the poetry. It is self-explanatory. We need to understand the fact. Let's see the theme. So there is a rhyming scheme. The rhyming scheme is A B A B, C D C D, C E C E. That's the rhyming scheme. Okay, so you can see here, dead, red, pyre, fire. Okay, born, mourn, rest, west, again, remain, throng, song. So this is the rhyming scheme, and the theme is simple: to find strength to face everyday contemplate on dreams and memories. Okay, to find strength to face every day, contemplate on dreams and memories. This is the theme of this poem. Like, we need to contemplate on our dreams and thoughts. Okay, and see which one is good, which one is better, which one is not better, and choose the best one to fight with the problem of everyday life. This is what the theme is all about. And then there is meter. Meter resembles to iambic pentameter. So there are many meters. Like there is, like iamb is something that works as unstressed and stressed, and penta means 5. So there are 5. You can say there are 5. There are 5 such unstressed and stressed unit in a line. Okay, not an issue. Not an issue. It's there. You can watch there anytime you may come. So example is there: attain, describe. So attain, first is unstressed, and then there is a stress syllables. I think you know what are syllables. So iambic pentameter is a collection of units that has unstressed and stressed syllables, and that too it is pentameter. Like there are 5 such stressed and unstressed unit in a line. Okay, So this is what, and so this is all about this. So I think this become brief session, because there is no much, there is no such complexity, but you can make it complex based on your imagination, where you want to take all these things, all the poetry. You can do that definitely. And so I think it is quite self-explanatory. Like there are complexity is there, but if we understand like what is happening, what is the theme, and why the writer is writing, we can understand the poetry. Okay, there are metaphors used, there are simplicity, there are similes used, and I think of course at one point of time it is very complex, but at the other time, but but it is not like it is easier on the other hand. One hand is hard, on the other hand is easier. It depends on our imagination, from where to what extent we can take that. Okay, so that's all about these two poetry. So we talked about Kamla Suraya. So meanwhile we shall conclude the session. Meanwhile I'll share the feedback form. Please fill up. Okay, please fill that form, and I'm sharing in the chat window. Please fill the feedback form while we'll be concluding the session. Okay. I think both of the poetry were very interesting. Okay, so I have shared the feedback form. Please fill it up meanwhile we wind up the session. So the first poetry by Kamla Das is nostalgic and an autobiographical poem, and the second poetry by Sarojini Naidu ji is something very abstract. She is referring to an abstract idea and asking for the power to face everyday problems. So this is what the poetry is all about, and she has shown some ritual there. Like she had described a kind of ritual in the second poetry. Okay. And so in the first poem there is no proper rhyming, or probably rhyming, there is internal rhyming, and let's see what kind of uh, we can say what kind of figures of speeches that we have in the second poem. That is, I think we forgot that. So we shall start. I have shared the link for the feedback form. I request everybody to fill it up. And yes, we have this. So we probably have metaphor here. Then there is alliteration, fashion, a funeral pyre, that's alliteration. Leaves that are mellow and red, you can say that is something, could be metaphor. And then there is noon's flaming torches of fire, it's a metaphor. We are weary, you can say it's a metaphor. Their ashes, metaphor.
And then war of the worlds, a metaphor. Strife of throng, metaphor. Gather the dreams that remain dreams, it is some kind of metaphor. Sorrow of life, sorrow of song, all are metaphor. So now what she's saying that she'll conquer the world with the happiness of the thoughts and dreams. Okay, I mean the sorrow of thoughts and dreams. And oh shit, I'm sorry, I think I sent you the wrong one. Sorry, I sent you the wrong one. Please don't fill it. Sorry, I sent you the wrong one. This is the feedback form. Please fill it up. Sorry, I sent you the wrong one. Please fill this up. And this is the right one. Sorry, I sent you the wrong one. Please fill the feedback form, and then the certificates will be issued by like today evening. Sorry, I sent you the wrong one. So yes, so the rhyming scheme was that, and then that's a theme, and then that's a meter. And once you fill the feedback form, we shall close this session. And so the poetry were very clear. I mean, it is very, these were very interesting. Yes, songs of sorrow. Yes, we will conquer the sorrow of life with the sorrow of song. And song, she's referring to the feelings and thoughts and emotions that give her power. Okay, so it is like tit for tat. Okay, I think it depends on our imagination, like how far we can stretch it and make the meaning. Okay. Okay. And yes, please fill the feedback form so that we get an idea.
we shall close the session in like 5-10 minutes.
And I request everybody to fill the feedback form, the link I have shared. Okay, once again I would share the link. Everybody is requested, those who are present, to fill the feedback form. Then we shall close the session, and by today evening you will be receiving the certificates.
There is a session tomorrow as well, that is on literary theory. You can also attend that. Okay, we shall close the session now, but this feedback form will be there for some time. You may fill it, and if you have any problem you can write me. Like if you want to share anything or you have any problem, you can write me on the email ID.
I think I'll also share that. And you can write me there.
And please fill the feedback form. I'll share the certificates by today evening. Thank you everybody, thank you so much. And we'll be closing this session.
But this message window will be opened. I mean, it will remain there, we'll not close it. We'll just close the session. And thank you anytime. We shall stop the session now, and thank you so much. Enjoy your day. See you tomorrow for the next webinar. Thank you so much. Bye for now.